It's a beautiful Wednesday, December 17th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful, award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, always a good time, and the wait is nearly over.
Oh, we're getting close, man.
I honestly love that we have the live show on Thursday night because it makes me focus on anything but thinking about Friday night.
I know it. I know it. I'm the same.
Is it weird that you and I are wired the same way? We're getting more nervous for the football game that we're not playing in. What we do for the football game has no impact on what's going to happen on the field. It has no impact on the outcome of the game. And we're more nervous about that than we are the live show.
I know. Because I want it for these guys. I really do, and I want it for these guys. I want it for the fans. I mean, we've been through it the last couple of years, man. Like we need a nice little run to grab a hold of and feel good about, which, I already feel good. I love the direction of the program right now, but it's just too big. You never know when you're going to get another chance, right? You never know. Like you always expect, like, hey, we're there. Things are moving the right direction. We'll make the playoffs every year. You just never know. So whenever you're in it, you got to take advantage, man.
I was at a 4-year-old birthday party last week, and I was having a conversation with one of the guys, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go. It's going to be like a 12-hour day." And I looked at him, I was like, "What are you talking about? You don't know when we're going to host another playoff game, man." And the look on his face when he said it, he was like, "I'm going. You're right. I'm sorry." And that's the thing. It's what an opportunity for these coaches, these players, and this fan base, Ted. I am beyond excited for the environment that we're walking into on Friday night. It is going to be so fun.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And you're right. Like, who knows what the new playoff format's going to look like? I think everyone loves the home games, so I don't think they would ever go away, but you never know. Like things change every 5 seconds in college football. So if you got a chance to go to the football game, get there. And if you don't have a ticket, get there anyways. Right? Go hang out, be around, be a part of the action. It's going to be wild, and you never know.
Now, before we all have a party on Friday night, Thursday night, reminder, live podcasts at the Showplace Theater at Riverwind Casino. Doors will open at 6:45. We're going to get started at 7:30. Our guy, Toby Rowland, going to MC the entire thing. And then special guests, Josh Payton, Cole Kubelik. Those two guys are going to go. We can't split those two guys up. They're going to go at the same time. And then we're going to have Stanford Steve and Dusty Dvorak go together, which you talk about just a bunch of meathead on stage at one time. My goodness, I can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. I can't tell you how relieved I was whenever you told me T-Row was going to be able to MC it. There's something about T-Row, man. It just, when he's there, it just flows. You know what I'm saying?
He puts you at ease. He puts us at ease. Everything's going to be okay since Toby Rowland is involved. It's just how it goes.
At a minimum, like if we absolutely butcher everything, T-Row will just come out there, no problem, and save the day.
He'll fix it. If it goes terribly wrong.
That's right.
I think we're also planning on doing like a Q&A at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll pass a mic around for the crowd. So if you've got any hard-hitting questions you want to ask Ted, Thursday night's your night, people.
Thursday night's truth serum night. So that's the night to get in the questions, man. It's going to be fun, dude. I can't wait. Awesome.
Lots of prizes to give away. Just super excited about this opportunity. Super thankful that Riverwind Casino is allowing us to do it. And I just, I'm really excited. And I think it's going to be a great show. So please come out. Once again, these guests agreed to do it. It'd be really embarrassing if people don't show up. Please, please show up. I can't ask any more sincerely than that, Dad.
All right, we don't want to have the birthday party that no one shows up to. You know
Oh,
what
no.
I'm saying?
Could you imagine Pate comes out, there's 12 people in the crowd?
I thought you guys had a good podcast. What's going on? Just echoes in the crowd from, smattering of applause.
So please, I'm confident people are going to show up, but please show up, please. All right, let's get into this matchup, man. And I assume we're going to say a lot of similar things that we said before these two teams played the first time, but some things have changed since the Sooners and Crimson Tide went at it there in Tuscaloosa. Let's start with OU's defense, Ted. What are you watching for from the Sooners defense against this Alabama offense?
Yeah, as I've looked at it and, watched some film and thought about the first matchup and, you know, just trying to figure out because here's the deal. They've got a really good coaching staff. Their offensive coaching staff is excellent. And they've got a great history. They're not going to come out and just slam their forehead against the wall. They're going to try and find ways to create some space for their guys. And a couple of things just kind of stick out for me. I think they're going to formation us. You know, whether or not Venables' defenses are extremely complex or not, they at least from the outside looking in appear to be like there's 100 moving parts on every play, right? So in my mind, the natural thing is let's mess with everyone's responsibilities. Let's tinker with them. Let's show unique formations. Let's show unique shifts, unique personnel groupings, different guys in the backfield, bunches. I think we're going to get a lot of empty because it'll help Ty Simpson identify what we're in a little bit better. Wide split, spread us out to where he can get a good visual as to what we're going to be doing. In Dover, they have shown a lot of Endover stuff. It'll show up pretty much with everyone you play these days. But, they did a lot of things against Georgia, just really unique presentations of Endover that you just don't see week in, week out. You almost
Let me
always
jump
see
in
them
here.
by. Yeah.
There's a lot of people listening going, what's Endover?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, whenever you have, let's say you have three receivers on one side and a tight end on the other side, just a traditional trips formation. And if you were to pick up that tight end and shift him over to the trip side and put him on the ball, he's going to be covered up by one of the outside receivers and he'll be ineligible and he'll just have an exposed tackle on the back end. Okay. That's what I call Endover. People call it a bunch of different things, but that's one of that would create a 4 by basically 0. You'd have the back in the backfield. You see that on a week in, week out basis in college football these days. And then small little variations of that. And in the Georgia game, they did Endover, but with a bunch of unique presentations. And I feel like maybe that's their answer to try and find a free gap in the run game, or maybe to get a matchup that they like with one of their wide receivers as you adjust to it. It's just a way to tinker with you, especially if they do it late in the sequence. So That's something I'm looking for. Um, we saw and we've seen Bernard in the backfield quite a bit with them this season, and I just have a hunch that we're going to see a whole lot more of it this weekend. Um, he's just such a dynamic player. It's and you know they're banged up at back, and I know the availability report was out, and it looks like they've gotten healthier there, but like they need a playmaker back there, and they've got some big physical guys that can do some stuff that are okay in the running game. But I think they want speed and they want matchups, and they'll do a lot with him out of the backfield. They can hand it to him, obviously, and they can tie in quarterback run, which I think we may see. We covered that on In the Weeds. They tried some of that against Georgia. Um, I just think that they're going to put him in the backfield quite a bit, and I think that you can get one-on-one routes with linebackers. Texas route we covered where they did, he started in the backfield, motioned out, created a little space, a little fake outside, and they ran like a inside screen, half tunnel, half inside screen to him out of starting him in the backfield. I think we're going to get a lot of that, whether it's him starting there and motioning out to a typical spot or creating some plays in some creative ways to get him the football. Against Georgia, we talked about in the first matchup, our blitz packages absolutely abused their running backs in protection. And that has been a recurring problem for them this season. Against Georgia, they started putting the tight end in the backfield. And it reminds me, you remember Green Bay used to do that way back in the day. They'd get a tight end in the backfield and they'd put him almost like between the guard and center to where he could pick up a blitzing backer right away. They weren't that exaggerated with it, but it's something that I think we're still going to get. And whenever they show it and they bring it out, like they're going to have, whether it's a slip screen, show you're going to block one of those guys, slip him and hit a little dump or something over the middle, run wham or something with it. Like I think that they've shown it. They know we've seen it. No big deal, but let's give them some eye candy and build off of it a little bit. I think that's a possibility. Like to me, if they go back and watch our game, Cuevas was the leading receiver for them. I have to imagine that they're saying if we're going to win this football game, Ryan Williams and Germie Bernard are going to have big games for us. And I think, like I said, spreading us out in empty, whether it's that way or putting those guys on the backside of formations, I think we're going to see a lot more ISO routes with those guys. Max protect, basically one receiver route, go win, double move, stutters. They love the comeback stuff and the hooks in the middle of the field, out routes. I think they're going to say, "Hey guys, listen, you're supposed to be some of the best wide receivers in college football. You're going to have to go win. We're going to put you in some isolated situations to go win." I think we're going to see quite a bit of that. And I think they may do some under center play action to build into that. Help try and eliminate the underneath guys, ISO the deep guys, and run comebacks, run, out-breaking routes, hooks in the middle of the field. Try and help isolate those guys, both in one-on-one and by trying to pull the linebackers up to create some space. Tunnels, wide receiver screens, just throwing the bubble outside, try and let those guys go make a play and build, your typical screen and go stuff off of it. Like a lot of what they like to do is they like the snag route, which is a slant running back runs a flat route and the inside guy runs a 7 route. You just kind of attack one side of the field. They love that, and they love just the spacing where you can start in a bunch and everyone kind of spreads out and runs 5 to 7 yard hook routes. They love those routes. It's like their common go-tos. I think they're going to build something off of it, whether it's gadget plays like spacing with the back out, like hook and ladder. I think we're going to get a lot of gadget stuff for whatever reason, because they built quite a bit of that into Georgia. You go back and look at the things they had success with us with, was like the fake fall down play, the everyone's looking at the sideline and snap it and catch us off guard. I think we're going to get a lot of, just kind of weird randomness. Um, they did I'm sure you saw this. Did you see that shift to end over where they had 3 tight ends on the field, and they had 2 tight ends lined up at, let's just call it guard and tackle, and then they had Proctor, and then they had a tight end outside come up to the line, big shift with the outside tight end and Proctor, and they leave a tight end exposed on the backside, and they ran a little hide screen on the backside to that. They're not going to run the same thing again at us, but like that's kind of where my mind's at with them and some of the stuff they're going to try and get us with. They ran and this is kind of in desperation mode at the end of the game, but they ran like a tunnel screen to Germie Bernard, and he caught it and then threw it all the way back across the field on a lateral. I think we just have to keep our eyes open for some of that stuff, and maybe they do it early, like right out of the gate. Whenever you're amped, you're at home, the crowd's going. We just had like the big entrance. Here we go. Let's try and, get them with something whenever they're really aggressive and the adrenaline's flowing. I mean, the running game to me, Gabe, it's going to be a lot of the same stuff. Counter, split zone, some quarterback counter, maybe with a wide receiver in motion or Bernard in the backfield, the hand sweep stuff, or the hand sweep fake and quarterback counter stuff. And we may get some under center run game if they do what I think and try and build in some under the center pass game with the deep single isolation routes, where you pull the guard as an extra protector, make it look like a downhill run play. I know that's a lot, and I'm kind of all over the place with it, but that's what I'm looking for.
I I think what you're saying about the under center stuff makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider how much good play action they do have from under center. They get to all that boot stuff, which Simpson is really good in. And I just wonder if getting under center and running like some simple mid zone type runs with Jam Miller make more sense for them than some of the stuff they tried in the first matchup.
Yeah. And the reason I say that is when a quarterback's under center, the defensive line is just naturally in a little bit different mode. They're in run mode often more so than just flying straight to the quarterback. And if you do run some of the zone, even outside zone, but split zone stuff, and then you go play action off of it, I think that's one effective way to slow down the pass rush. Now, whether or not they do that, I don't know, but if I was them, I would be coming in worried about Oklahoma getting to Ty Simpson all night. Backs are not good in protection. We've shown that we can beat their offensive linemen pretty handily. We can disguise really well. I think that's an easy way to try and slow down guys that just flying up the field coming off the ball.
It's hard to imagine with how much they've struggled to run the ball that all of a sudden they're going to find it on the road in Norman in the college football playoff, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So I think I think it's all going to come down to Ty Simpson.
Yep.
And that's just how their offense has been for a while now. And the question becomes they have had all kinds of different protection issues. Running backs have struggled, and their offensive line, frankly, they have let a bunch of free runners go and hit him a lot.
Mhm.
And I just think that I think Venables is if they can make them as one dimensional as I think they can make them, you just know Venables is going to have some new stuff for this thing, man. And
Know it.
it's going to be interesting to see if they can get whether it's Kip Lewis or Owen Heineke or one of the corners coming, or maybe this is a game where we see Venables dial up a bunch of safety blitzes that we haven't brought necessarily that many of this season. Like I I don't know exactly what the plan is going to be, but he's going to have some new stuff for him. But the goal remains the same. Like make them abandon the run.
Yep.
And I don't know if Grubb is going to be willing to just beat his head against the wall if they're getting 0-1-2, 0-1-2 in the run game. He may just go, you know what? Let's do what we do. Let's throw it around.
Yeah.
I
No, I agree. I think the running game stuff is just going to be, onesie twosie, a mixed bag of things here and there just to make sure you're staying honest on defense outside of gadget stuff. I do think we're going to get some gadget run game, like however you classify that, not your traditional turn and hand it, counter split zone stuff. You'll see a little bit of that, but I think we're going to get Bernard in the backfield quite a bit.
it wouldn't surprise me also, like you mentioned early, when the crowd's going crazy, the defense is just ready to roll, screens, reverses, like those types of plays where they're using that energy you've got like against you.
Yep, that's right.
Like they're trying to get you over pursuing, like those types of things. I'm with you, man. I think that I
That's why,
think
like
Grubb will have some of that ready early.
when I saw that tunnel screen throwback lateral all the way across the field, it was at the end of the Georgia game, and I'm like, that's not an end of the game play. That's a first or second play of the game play. When you throw a tunnel and that defense is just swarming over to one side, and he catches it, hitches it, and throws it back across. I mean, who knows what you get, but that's kind of what stuck out to me is like as aggressive as we were and as good as we played, that our guys are going to be wanting to feed off of that and build off of that performance. And that's where kind of the gotcha stuff comes in.
Thinking about the first matchup and what Bama had success with and what you've seen from Bama on tape since that game, is there anything that you look at and you go, hey, this really concerns me?
Isolation routes to Ryan Williams, because like they have to be saying we cannot go and win if our biggest playmakers don't make big plays. If they can take those guys away, like we're not going to go beat them with Cuevas. All right. We're not going to beat them with Jam Miller. We're going to beat them with Bernard and Ryan Williams. So I think that in a lot of the coverage will keep them from pushing the ball down the field, but you want to get our defense thinking about Ryan Williams over the top. And that's whenever the comeback stuff, isolated on the outside, boom, he's running a hard outside release like he's running a go ball, toe in the ground, comes back, catches it. We're out in the middle of nowhere, and there's a big cushion now because you were playing the deep ball, and it's one-on-one. I think that's the type of stuff that they're going to try and create.
Maybe think of like, hey, just more, let's create these matchups and give our guys their opportunities to just go win. It's kind of an
That's it.
NFL mentality, you know?
Like, hey, they're not going to give us anything. You're going to have to go earn it. And you're our guys. This is what we pay you the big money for. Go win. That's how I see it. That's how I would be viewing it if I were in their shoes.
If it ends up unfolding that way, then Cortland Guillory and Eli
Yes, sir.
Bowen become the most important players on the field for OU's
Yep.
defense.
Yep.
And those guys have been very, very good all season long.
Yep.
But
I trust it.
this may be the biggest test of both of their careers. And I know that, hey, Eli Bowen has fared well in the matchup with this team
Yep.
twice
Yeah.
now. I wouldn't mind him making another big play in this one.
No doubt. No, I mean, I like the matchup. Obviously, I think we can win the line of scrimmage. In the first game, we tackled so good out in space. Drop back, it's not there. Throw the little swing route, boom, we come up and make an instant catch tackle for no gain or even for a loss. Like those plays can't be a flyby and you go pick up a first down like that. Those plays, like that's what happened in Texas when they went on those long drives. We missed a couple of those plays out on the perimeter and they kept drives alive. They kept us on the field and it started churning into big problems for us. So got to tackle well, gonna have to cover well, and we got to make life hell on Ty Simpson in the pocket. You got to make him feel it.
The only other thing that stood out to me about him offensively since we played him is what Isaiah Horton has done in the red zone for him. Had
Yep.
3 touchdowns in the Auburn game. Ty Simpson appears to be like if they get down in that area of the field, he appears to be looking for number one.
Yep.
So that's just you have to factor that in if they're able to move the ball and get into that high red, low red area. Like they are designing things for him, and it makes sense. He's their big body guy.
Yep.
Down there in the red zone. So I'm so excited to watch this defense. I really am. This could be and Bama, I still think Bama, even without the run game, like they have so many talented playmakers on that offense. And I still think despite some of Ty Simpson's struggles lately, I still think he's really dang good.
Yep.
But this has the opportunity, like this defense has the opportunity to deliver an all-time performance on this field.
I know. And we've seen games where we've scored 50, 60 points there. Hell, I played in a game where we scored 77. I don't think anyone in our fan base cares about how many points we score. They just want to see this defense ball out, and I love it.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
You got me fired up, man. I'm excited.
I still like it. I like the matchup. I think we can play well.
All right, let's talk about the Sooners offense against the Crimson Tide's defense. But first, download the Loves app from Love's Travel Stops, your guide to savings on the road. Fill up for less with the discount on fuel, 10 cents off on every gallon of gas, and 25 cents off on every gallon of auto diesel. And don't forget, in the store, you can unlock mobile deals on the Loves app to save on snacks, drinks, and select meals at Love's restaurants. Plus, you can plan your pit stops for your next road trip with the map and route planner. All from Love's, the heart of the highway.
Steaks are back. Didier Ranch's luxury steak cuts are restocked and ready to ship straight to your door. From mouth-watering ribeyes to silky smooth fillets, this is the best beef Oklahoma has to offer. And here's the kicker. They're now shipping next day air for free when you use code SOONER at checkout. That's right. Next day air like Amazon Prime, but for steak. Didier Ranch delivers taste and tradition the luxurious way. Order today at DidierRanch.com and get your steaks just in time for the holidays.
And we were brought to you by Simple Modern, the Oklahoma-owned company and the official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. Guys, have you wrapped up your holiday shopping yet? let me let you in on a little secret. Simple Modern has amazing holiday gifts for everyone. You can get a Mesa tumbler for your wife, a Voyager 360 for your coffee-loving friends, or be Dad of the Year with so many different gift ideas for your kiddos. Check out Simple Modern's complete gift guide at simplemodern.com and delight everyone on your holiday gift list with just a few clicks. And with 10% of all profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, every sip supports Oklahomans on and off the field. Simple Modern, good everywhere. All right, looking at OU's offense versus Alabama's defense. First and foremost, what a tremendous opportunity to prove everyone wrong.
Yes, sir.
And I know that doesn't need to be your main motivation to go out and play well. Right? You want to go out and prove all the work that you've been putting in, like that you can go do it. It's like you and your guys, let's go do it for us. But everyone, dang near everyone, has said that you suck. That everyone, that offense, I don't know, man. That offense is no good. Everyone has said it. You got an amazing opportunity to go prove for everyone that they're all idiots. So here we go. And it all starts for me at the point of attack. We can talk about Mateer and Satania. We can talk about the running backs and how healthy Xavier Robinson is, how healthy Torrey Blaylock is. It doesn't matter. It's all on the offensive line in my mind. You win big-time football games by knocking the hell out of people at the point of attack, by moving people against their will.
Sometimes, isn't it?
It is a simple game sometimes. And the bottom line is this team will produce offensively if the offensive line plays at a high level, if they are more physical and willing to strain harder and longer than Alabama's defensive front. That's just where I'm at with it. Like, you win big games in the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very interested to see, because it kind of feels like it's going to be Wee-Woo at center. Just with Michael coming off the infection, like, I don't know how he's feeling. Frankly, I thought Wee-Woo looked awesome at center against LSU. But no matter what the lineup is, you got to win those battles. And if you win more battles than you lose, then you're going to be in great shape. So I just had to start there. Everyone thinks you suck. And then just go, if you go win at the line of scrimmage and you're the more physical team, you're going to put yourself in a tremendous position. You got to cherish the football. I feel like I've said it every week on here for a long time now.
Keep saying it.
You got to remember, Bama is excellent at forcing fumbles. Excellent. They're going to come violently, punch at it, rip at it. They're one of the best teams in the country at it. You have to protect the ball at all times. Now, thinking about the first matchup, I like some of the pre-snap motion we use. I like some of the shifts that we presented because, remember, Bama does some unique things on defense with their alignments. And the more you make them communicate, the better, in my opinion. The more you make all of those guys adjust to some moving parts, I think that, that you can get some wires crossed there. So I would like to see Arbuckle continue to use those shifts, those motions, and make them communicate before the snap. A lot of this is going to sound similar to the first matchup because they're still doing a lot of the same stuff on defense.
Yeah.
Since we played them, but you got to find 42. Where is he? Is he lined up at edge? Is he in that weird, like, middle of the defense floating position? Where is Yanze Pierre? And now it's where's 42 or where's 4? Because Quay Rousseau is back on the field for him. Now, he doesn't have a ton of juice, in my opinion, right now. He doesn't look like the guy that started the season for him, but he's back out there on the field and he's playing that same position. So whether it's 42 or 4, you got to find him, and that will tell you kind of what they're trying to accomplish with their defensive structure. Is he an outside linebacker? Is he in that weird spot in the middle? And then you have to be able to think on the fly, right? Because that changes everything you're doing from a pass protection standpoint, from your run blocking assignments. Where are those guys? All right, he's a down guy. He's always a down guy. Here we go. This is, and I talked about this in the first matchup, it is a football IQ game for the offensive line. Communication is key. Where are these guys lined up? What are they trying to do? Communicate it across the board, and then go hit some fools, like it's, yeah. But them not having LT Overton is a big deal to me. I thought coming into the first matchup, he was their best defensive lineman. So I think that is an advantage for us that he won't be out there on the field. And I hope he's all right. It sounds like I don't know. It's like a medical issue. I don't know. So hopefully he's okay, because that guy's going to make a lot of money playing football.
Yep.
But this is still a group for Bama in the core of their defense. They're fundamentally sound, good pad level. Like you have to play with extreme physicality and aggressiveness, but dude, you got to play with good technique in this game, or else these guys are going to shed you. Good pad level for them, inside hands, like physical, like they are coached well and they play with that technique along the defensive line. So you can't get too caught up in going, I'm going to kill this guy. You gotta use good. You have to have good pad level. Your feet have to be good. Your hands have to be good. Your eyes have to be good. Run game thoughts. I've said this a lot this year. I believe the best approach for this team is to spread them out. I don't think it creates any advantage for us to bring more bodies into the box and to get in condensed formations. I think the best thing that we can do as far as running the ball is just naturally create space with our formations, with our shifts, with our motions. Like, create space. Don't try to play in a phone booth with Alabama. Create space. And I think that is when we are at our best, whether we're getting to the running back stuff or we're getting to QB run game. Like, create space. Don't make it crowded. Create space. And set our tight ends up for success. Put them on backers, put them on safeties, put them on alley defenders in the split zone stuff, like on the move, going and blocking those edge guys. As much as we can, avoid having them being in line and blocking their edge players, because that just has not been a strength for our group. And going back to the first matchup, remember, Caden Helms did not fare well against this team. And he's kind of our best inline guy we've got at the tight end spot. So don't be stubborn. Like, set your guys up for success. I think the best way to attack them in the running game is to attack the perimeter of their defense. Speed sweeps, swing screens, bubble screens, and I consider all of that run game. Mm-hmm. I guess you're technically throwing it on a swing screen and a bubble screen, but it's really just an extended run out to the perimeter. So make their defensive backs get off blocks and make tackles in space. And Mateer's got to be accurate on those. Like, throw it to the guys. Don't make it hard on them. Make it easy on them and let them go out there and play in space. Get easy touches for Satania and Burks out in space. Kanik has done a really good job for the most part blocking on the perimeter. Have him doing the blocking, not Burks. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Out on some of those, like, set our guys up for success. And one guy that I did not do a good job of talking about in the first matchup is Red Morgan, who's playing nickel for him. He's listed at 185, number 16. He doesn't look big, Ted, but my goodness, this guy plays big. And that's going to be a key. Like, if we're going to attack them on the perimeter, this is about as violent and as forceful as a 185-pound guy can be. It's impressive, honestly. And we've got to win battles against him out on the perimeter because he has ruined a lot of this stuff against teams. He will just blow it up. And he did it against us in the first matchup. So you got to handle 16 when you're attacking the perimeter, run game or throw game. This is also going to sound familiar. You got to make their corners tackle. Whether it's Lee or Jackson, whoever, you have to make their corners get in the fit and tackle. Whether you're push cracking, whether you're just getting in formations that bring them into the fit, make their corners tackle. That still is not a strength of this defense. And I could go through all the stuff that I went through the first matchup, like, hey, motion 3x1 to where you get to the 3x1 with a nub tight end. It brings Hubbard or someone like a defensive back into the fit, run it at the defensive back in the fit. And Hubbard's excellent. He's a fantastic football player. But anytime you can get a defensive back in the core, you should feel good about that, especially if you're an offensive lineman. If you look up and the guy you're combining to is a defensive back, you have to be excited. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But the 4x0 formations, GY counter, split zone bluff, like it all challenges their corners. Get in formations, shift to formations, motion to formations to where you can attack their corners in the run game. I'd love to see that. And then QB run game out of empty has given them some problems lately. And you can do it where you're in empty, but the tight end's like in the core, Ted, in a wing.
Yeah.
And you can just run simply like QB GY counter. And some of that QB run stuff in the 4x0 formations has gone against them. So this is a game where it feels like, hey, if Mateer's got to run it 18 times, so be it, man. We're in the playoff. We got to do what we got to do at this point.
Yep.
Like there's no, for lack of a better term, there's no pitch count on him when it comes to running the football in this game.
No. And, you're playing first in this deal. If you happen to win, you're not playing in 7 days. So, yeah, this sellout time.
Bama will. They have all season long. They have showed they will stack the box. They will stack the box and trust their guys out on the perimeter to defend all the RPO stuff. Mateer, you have to throw the RPO throws, whether it's a bubble, a quick screen, whatever. Arbuckle's got tagged on some of these. If you're at a box count disadvantage, make the proper decision, throw it out there, and throw an accurate ball. If it's a bubble, put it on them. Don't make them work for it. If it's a quick, put it right in their face mask. Like, put it on them so guys can catch the ball quickly and then go make plays. When you look at the Auburn game, some of their most successful stuff is just getting the ball out quick, short little hitches, and then guys making guys miss and running. Mm-hmm. Like, it's nothing overly complicated. So that RPO piece of things, when you're at a box count disadvantage with the bubbles, the quicks, the slants, the quick outs, whatever the RPO throw is, Mateer has to put it on target. That may, honestly, with how much deep coverage they played in the first matchup and how much they seem to like playing like this deep cover 3 stuff, some of these short throws where a guy just has the ball in his hands and can go make something happen, it may be the best opportunity we have for explosive plays in this game. So, but that's Burke, Satania. If you catch some of those, you got to go do something with it, man.
Yep.
Canick's been really good in some of those situations, making that first guy miss. turning a 5-yard hitch into a 20-yard gain. Like, that's huge in this game. So I think those RPO throws, him making the proper decisions and delivering an accurate ball on those, guys blocking their butts off for their buddies in those situations, like that's going to be really, really important for OU's offense in this game.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that we've been looking for is, find the quick stuff and let your guys go make a play. Whether it's Satania, any of those guys, go make a play, make someone miss, run through a tackle, let everyone else get out in front, convoy. And, like you said, it's been a dangerous weapon for us, in the past. We've hit on some big ones. But it hasn't been consistent enough.
Right. Let's get to some pass game thoughts. This is going to sound stupid. It may sound strange because OU's got a formula that has proven to win them games. Take care of it on offense, lean on the defense and special teams. That has worked for this team. I just feel like John Mateer's got to be more aggressive in the passing game in this game. And here's what I mean. Bama, like I mentioned, played a lot of deep zone coverage in the first matchup. And I don't think all of a sudden they're going to come out and go, you know what? Let's heat them up. Here comes all the pressure. We're playing one behind it. We're going to challenge these guys. I don't think that's what Womack's going to do on defense. I don't. But they will pick and choose the situations where they get more aggressive. They bring some pressure. They play some man. When that happens, John Mateer has to find Isaiah Satania and Deion Burks. If those guys, and it's probably only going to be a handful of plays in the game, Ted.
Yeah.
When those guys have their one-on-ones, I need John Mateer to give those guys a chance to go make a play. And if he can just give them a chance, then clearly those guys got to go make something happen. Whether it's a simple out route, some of these dig routes, like one of the deep over, it feels like it's been forever since we hit a deep over route. When you get the chance, when those guys, when your best players, your best playmakers get one-on-ones, you have to identify it, and the ball's got to go there. Because we're going to need some explosive plays in this game. We may not need many, but we're going to need some. And those are your best opportunities for explosives. When you get those matchups, you got to find 4 and you got to find 5.
Yeah. There's a big difference between being aggressive and being careless. Like you can be aggressive and attack guys and, thread the ball in, make a tight throw, let one of your guys go make a play in one-on-one. That's different than just winging it, just like I'm throwing this no matter what happens out there. I'm just going to let it fly. Like they got to be calculated risk, but you could be aggressive without being careless.
No doubt about it. And he needs to be. Also have to attack the middle of the field in the passing game. Teams continue to find voids in the middle of the field between Bama's backers and their safeties. And can't stop thinking about the deep dig from Jermichael Carter in the first matchup, Ted.
Thing of beauty.
Beautiful. Zone insert play action. Boom. Giant void in the middle of the field. Good ball, good catch, perfect timing. Looks amazing. There's no reason we can't have some of those in this game. But it all comes down to, does Bama have to respect what we're doing in the running game? If they do, then it's going to give you some more opportunities in the throw game. So like all offense, it's all connected. But find the matchups. When Burks and Satania get one-on-ones, you got to find those guys. And then you have to attack those voids in the middle of Bama's zone coverage. Because for whatever reason, the inside backers and those safeties, they're not quite on the same page. And some of those, especially on these deep in breaking routes. that people have run against them. I'm going to hold on to hope because I said it going into the first matchup. If you want to get in a little 12 personnel condensed formation stuff and just run some 1 or 2 man routes with Burks and Satania, they bring so many guys close to the line of scrimmage when you get in condensed formations in 12 personnel. If we're going to take some shots, I would love to see us do that and then say, all right, guys, 4 and 5, go win. That'd be great. I would love to see us just try a couple of those and see if we can produce an explosive pass pro thoughts. Already mentioned it. You got to find 42. You got to find 4. Those guys are defensive linemen. Thinking back to the first matchup, Fasusi needs to anchor better in this game than he did in the first one. Gave up a little too much push in that first matchup, and I'm hoping he's as healthy as he's been since Michigan.
Yeah.
With the break, which I think will do him a lot of good. I expect him to play at the highest level we've seen him play all season long. That's my expectation for 56.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a spotlight game. This is people are going to be talking about it. This is a matchup, freshmen out there playing at tackle, going to have a spotlight with all eyes on you, and you've got experience under your belt now. Hopefully you're feeling as healthy as you have. Like, this is where you switch gears.
They have brought Morgan, their nickel number 16, on quite a bit of edge pressure since we've played him. Like, just some simple nickel edge pressures. Running backs have to be ready for it. You got to know that it's clear to me they are starting to really trust him to do a lot of different things for him defensively. And it's because he can be so physical even at that size. So he came quite a few times off the edge against Auburn, and you have to be ready for that. And then you better be ready for a collision, man, because this guy brings it at 185. So that's something to keep an eye on. I said this in the first matchup. If someone's playing a drinking game where they're drinking every time I say this going into the first matchup, where people are feeling good right about now, but it's pretty clear on tape. Now, it's harder to identify it on the field, but whether it's Pierre or Rousseau, like 42 or 4, when those guys are dropping, and you can tell by their demeanor at the line of scrimmage when they're dropping, they don't look like guys that are about to rush the passer when they're dropping. The pressure's coming the other way. If we could use that to our advantage, that would be great. If John Mateer could redirect some protection, it'd be, I may cry, okay? I may cry. But that's something like it's a great indicator of what they're trying to attack you with. If you can identify when that edge guy is dropping, same stuff, 3rd and long, like overload. They'll get 3 defensive linemen to one side. They'll bring Lawson up in the opposite A gap, and then the defensive end on the edge. They'll twist out of that. Just blocking 4-man rush twist games will be big. They've done quite a bit of that since we've played them. They're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna get to any of their stuff where they put 6 defensive backs on the field and only have 3 defensive linemen. But when they do that, they bring Lawson 0 up to the line of scrimmage, and they play Justin Jefferson and then Hubbard at linebacker. I wouldn't mind if that's the box they're going to give you, even if it's 3rd and 7, run it.
Yeah.
If you got a linebacker playing defensive line and a safety playing inside backer, run it right at him. Run it right at Lawson. Run it right at Hubbard. But run QB draw. Like, just run it.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good way. That's something to keep an eye on. I don't remember seeing that in the first matchup, but they did it quite a bit earlier in the season. And Ted, you kind of just have to be ready for anything and everything in this game. Like, they're gonna unload everything they got. So That's all I got, man. I know it was a lot, but ultimately, if you win the battle at the line of scrimmage, you can move the ball against this defense. But this is a good defense.
Yeah, they
It's a
are.
good defense.
I think they're a lot better than they get credit for
I'm
sure.
with you. Yeah, it's they're extremely talented. Now, do they have one guy where you just go, "Oh my goodness"? No, they don't have that guy that we're used to Bama having, especially along the line of scrimmage. But they got a bunch of really good players, and I'm just hoping that their defensive coordinator continues to drop Yonsei Pierre into coverage. Please keep making him the flat player and don't let him rush the passer. That would be great.
Yeah, I agree.
Every time I see it on tape, I go, "What are we doing?" Like it just drives me insane.
I do agree with you. I think the early part of this game for our offense going against their defense has a chance to be pretty uneventful. I think they're going to play a big shell on us, try and make us go, 12 or 14 plays without getting a penalty or having a mistake, and then, hold us to field goals, try and force a punt. But as the game starts to reach that pinnacle and that climax in the second half, that's when I think they're going to start throwing darts at you. And maybe that's when you're going to be able to have your ability to start pushing it down the field and go and win some one-on-ones. Early, it may be hard to get those looks. They may think that we don't have to be super risky early in this football game. Just make them be efficient against us. They've struggled with that. But as things start to get to the end point and something's got to happen, something's got to give, I think that's when they'll start dialing some things up and you can counter it.
I just hope we run some more mid zone.
Yeah.
Well, I think we ran it one time against them. It looked pretty good.
Yeah. In the insert, we talk about that play action off the insert. I like the insert. And, one of the things that people used to do this off of like inserts kind of like a lead draw, like old school. And then you run the rail with the fullback with Kanik. Like he's going to lead block and he avoids and you throw it over the top to him. I mean, I think you can build all kinds of stuff off of those looks.
The old Dimitri Flowers play.
Did they do that to him?
Just let him just slip him by and throw it to the fullback. I'm very excited for the opportunity that's in front of this offense. They have a chance to prove everyone right or to prove everyone wrong. And my goodness, I hope they prove everyone wrong.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine an avalanche of points?
Oh, you will. I will need possible medical assistance.
Hey, be careful because we will be on ESPN2 on the MegaCast. So
how about that?
That's going to be cool.
Yeah, if you don't want to listen to Herb Street and Fowler, hop on over to the Deuce. You can catch the Sooner Radio Network on ESPN2 for this game. No big deal.
No big deal.
I think this is our ESPN debut, Ted.
This is it. This is it. I'm waiting for that big paycheck coming from the MegaCast.
I don't say much on the broadcast. You, sir, pressure's all on you. I'm just the chime-in guy.
It's going to be awesome, dude. I cannot wait. But man, you're right. This offense, every now and then, like you're presented with these great opportunities to go out when everyone doubts you and prove that you've got what it takes. And there's no better feeling in the world. So I hope they're up to it, man.
How many points do we need to score where you're like, I feel really good about it?
24.
That's exactly where I'm at. 24, and I'm feeling really good about things. Now, I do think for OU to win this game, one of the storylines after the game needs to be, hey, John Mateer's a dude now.
Yeah.
I don't think we can get an LSU-like performance from Mateer and win this game. Bama's too good. It's got to be, he's got to play well. He doesn't need to be Superman, but he needs to play really well, in my mind. Like, I think in order to win this game, after we got to be going, that is John Mateer.
Yep. That's right. I agree. I think he's capable. I mean, we've put a lot of time between now and the injury. You know, the pressure of a doomed season is gone. Now playoff pressure is a different animal, but like for him, it's sellout time. Go play your best ball, put it out there, and I think he's capable. I've seen him do it. I told you I went back and watched the Michigan game, and I mean, some of those throws, how he looked running the football, how like his cuts were sharp, he was aggressive. Like, if we get that material, I feel really good about it.
I'm with you. All right, let's get to call your shot. We asked you guys the number one thing you'll be watching for in OU Alabama. This first one comes from Keegan Jewell, who says, I'm very excited to see how electric the environment is. We've seen our crowd affect games this year. So with Norman shutting down for the playoff game, how much more will we see that come into play on Friday night? Ted, I would say whether it's as players or now as part of the radio crew, we have been part of several of the best environments that Norman has ever produced.
Yeah, and they've all been this year, it feels like.
Well, go back. You'd think like you were playing it. I was there as a fan at the 2000 Nebraska game.
Yeah.
That game was insane. I was at the jump around game against Tech in 08. That was insane. Like we completely messed it up, but like the 2013 or 2012 game against Notre Dame.
Yep.
The environment early in that game was nuts. And I expect this one to surpass all of those.
And like, of all these things that we've talked about that, you know, we think, or maybe this happens, or they could do that, you know, we could do this. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I ain't even considering that it's not going to be the greatest environment that we've ever seen.
It's going to be awesome.
Pressure. Hey, fan base is under some pressure too now. Let's go.
It's weird because we're at home. We beat them the first time, and I don't know. So in a weird way, it feels like the pressure's on Alabama and Caleb DeBoer in that group. I don't know. It feels like we're playing with house money, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We made the playoff in a season where, let's be real, before the season, you didn't see many people picking OU to make the playoff.
No.
You certainly didn't see many people picking OU to go 10-2, and here we are, baby. Like, it's
not even just before the season, like before the month of November, it was starting to look pretty pretty ominous.
So players, coaches, fans, radio crew, like, what do we have to lose? Let's get weird.
That's right. And, you know, there's something to that. Don't make it more than it is. And I don't think these guys have. And I mentioned to this Coach Venables the other night, I love the mindset that they've been in the playoffs since November when they went to Tennessee. And, you know, this is just, I don't know, call it round 4 or round 5, whatever. For those guys, you know, don't make it more than it is. Go cut loose, do what you've practiced, be prepared, play fast, be the most physical team, execute all the things that you always try and do. Let the crowd take care of the rest.
This last one comes from Binge Hurst, who says, Can't wait to see a healthy RMT back out there. The D deserves a ton of credit for winning in his absence, but he is undoubtedly the best player on the team, and I expect him to remind everyone early and often.
I hope so. Wasn't even on the report, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. Does that mean he's going to play 60 snaps? Is he going to be a third down specialist? I honestly don't know what to expect, but the fact that he wasn't on that report sure makes me feel a lot better. He is, he's got a knack for showing up in critical moments.
I think a healthy R. Mason Thomas is an absolutely horrible matchup for their tackles. I just don't know how healthy he is.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's got his explosiveness around the edge and then that inside counter that he has, like, it's going to be a long day for Proctor and Carroll. But I just don't know, like, really what to expect. I don't know what type of burst and explosiveness he's going to have.
Yep. No, I'm with you.
I will say, even if he's not quite himself, the offense still has to treat him like he's himself.
Yeah.
And you have to have a plan. You coming into the game, if you're Alabama, you kind of have to go like, hey, 32 is going to be him. We'll see if he is or not, but if R. Mason Thomas is drawing attention from them, that should create one-on-ones for the other guys on the opposite side of him. And then if that's Grayson Halton or Taylor Wine, like those guys got to go win their one-on-ones.
Yep.
So it's not just what he does individually. It's, okay, what type of opportunities does he create for some of these other guys? And what do those guys do with those opportunities?
Totally agree. Totally agree. And if he only plays a handful of snaps, well, then just go score in one of those like you did at Tennessee. Okay.
I like that idea. That's great.
Let's go.
The big one, man. I'm excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. It's going to be great.
Can't
All
wait.
right, let's dive into the matchup a little more with our guy, Greg McElroy. But first,
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. Schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
with ice cold beers, great food, and TVs all around, Pub W is the perfect spot to catch OU football and NFL Sundays. Pub W has been voted best happy hour 3 years in a row and serves brunch Saturday and Sunday mornings until 2 p.m. You can enjoy classics like chicken and waffles and their steak breakfast burrito, as well as unique dishes like the Big Country Benedict. Plus, brunch Marys, mimosas, and espresso martinis. Visit pubdub.com to find a location near you. Pub W, good food, good drinks, good people.
Insurica's launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
It is our pleasure to be joined by the host of Always College Football. He is also a college football analyst for ESPN and the host of Mac and Cube. He does a lot of stuff, college football people. Greg McElroy is in the house. Greg, how we doing, man?
What's up, fellas? Good to be with y'all. Fun week, huh?
It's been wild. It's been wild. There's it's crazy. You know, I know Bama played in the SEC championship, so we got to watch that, but I mean, it feels like the season was a month ago or longer. It's just, and then the game gets on you before you know it with that Friday night kick, but it's been fun, man.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like with the schedule, it's actually, I don't know, you're just drinking water through a fire hose for a while, and then you kind of get to catch your breath, and then boom, it's here before you know it. I mean, it's game week prep, and I think the way the teams are approaching it, like for Bama and the teams that played in the conference championship games, it's basically just like a single bye week. I mean, it's not like they still kind of stayed in schedule. They never took a break from practicing, so it's kind of weird. But it's also it's kind of fun too. I mean, I don't want too much time to go by to where you kind of the team loses its identity. So I'm kind of good with it being a little more condensed, it feels like.
You know both of these teams well. You were on the call for 4 of OU's games. You were on the call for 4 of Alabama's games, and clearly that's your alma mater. How healthy is Bama coming into this game? Because we saw so many guys, so many key contributors not participate in the SEC championship game, Greg.
They're crazy beat up. They're a little better off now than they were beforehand. Everyone's a little beat up, but Alabama in particular, they just had so many like really physical games in a row. You know, it's like some games, and you guys know this, like y'all played. I think everyone just looks at it and it's like, well, they're all physical. No, they're not. Like some teams are more physical than others. Like some games are more violent, some games are more challenging, some games take longer to recover from. And Bama's just kind of been on a bit of a stretch between LSU, which is always a crazy physical game, Oklahoma, crazy physical game, Auburn, crazy physical game. I know they had the powder puff there in between, but that doesn't really, one little itty bitty break doesn't really take away from the grind of having played the 4 teams they played in a 5-week span. That's a beast. And then Georgia, of course, in the SEC title game. So like 4 super physical teams, and I think it just took its toll. And that was on the heels of the bye week prior to the LSU game, and then they had a 5 or 6 week span, which it was like one game after another. It was just a complete grind. So I think when you look at everything with Alabama, they're gonna be beat up. They're not gonna be at 100%. But this is kind of one of those where you just have to survive in advance on both sides. Like it doesn't have to be pretty. And for Oklahoma and for Alabama, for that matter, very little has been pretty this year. But it's not about that. Like this is kind of a throwback game where it's a double chin strap, double mouthpiece, go out there, throw a punch, and let's see what happens. And don't make any critical mistakes because every drive that ends in a kick in this one feels like it's going to be a positive drive offensively. So I think hey, they're beat up like crazy, man. But it's kind of the nature of the game and just the nature of where we're at right now with rosters. Like teams are just not as deep as they once were. Like there's a drop off when guys are out or when guys are less than 100% from the backup. Whereas back when we played, the backup, the gap between the starter and the backup was tiny. Now it's significant, and the teams feel it.
Well, I mean, it's interesting whenever you lay out Alabama's schedule like that because it feels like kind of the prevailing thought about Alabama right now is they're hanging on for dear life, right? Like not necessarily playing their best ball. And injuries and the wear and tear is a factor in that. But do you think with that, that little bit of time in between that they kind of get their groove back? Or is it kind of is what it is at this point? They've played so many tough games and really showed their hand of like who they are. And people have seen maybe the best ways to defend them and attack them that like that's just who we're going to see, or do you expect a little bit of a resurgent effort from them?
Well, I think if you just look at the teams they played, just statistically speaking, Oklahoma, top 9 unit in college football on defense, Georgia, top 13 unit in college football on defense. I'm going through the list. I have it right in front of me. LSU, top 25, Auburn, top 30. You would think that those numbers aren't great. I mean, to me, like a top 30 defense is that great. And there were a couple of games where they didn't have their best stuff. The best example
Those
being
offenses affect those teams' defenses. And I think LSU's defense and Auburn's defense are better than those numbers would suggest.
I'm 100% in agreement. Like if you're going and playing Auburn, why would you do anything dumb offensively? Like just survive. They're not going to be able to manufacture an 80-yard touchdown drive. So just play conservative. You punt it to them, play some field position because all we need is 17 to win the game. I think the same for LSU. That's the way Oklahoma played the game against LSU in the final game of the year. It's like we don't need to do it. Just don't do anything dumb. And granted, there were a couple dumb moments in that game for sure, but it's like Just don't do anything dumb. We'll be fine. They're not going to score. We'll be good. All good. Don't worry about it. Field goals can win this thing, no problem. So I think when you look at it, yes, I think there's a handful of teams in that list where they're probably a little better on defense than you realize, but most teams are going to kind of peel it back a bit and not try to do anything outrageous to put themselves in a disadvantaged situation by turning it over. So looking at all of it, I think the optics would tell you that they're hanging on by a thread. That's the narrative. But in reality, I think most of us know that if you played a grind like that, it's going to be hard to be at your best offensively, especially when you're a ball control team. Like Bama's not a team that wants to pour it on you. Like if they wanted to take shots, if for example Josh Heupel all of a sudden decided to send his playbook to Alabama and say, "All right, guys, go run our stuff. Like here's the keys. You can have our Tennessee offense, and you can become a high volume passing attack that stretches the field vertically and horizontally." Bama absolutely has the personnel to do that. It's just they haven't. That's not who they are. That's not what they want to be. They feel like that hangs the defense out to dry, and that would, in all likelihood, hurt them in a 16-game season because every one of these coaches, Oklahoma, Bama, all these coaches are trying to limit their defensive snap exposure. And if you look at Alabama, their defense has actually defended fewer plays than, gosh, all but a handful of teams this year because of how well they've been controlling it offensively. They're an exhaust, take the air out of the football type of team. They just do it by throwing it, not by handing it off. So I think that's the bit of a misconception and I think the same can be applied to Oklahoma too. I think it's a totally fair conversation to have. Can Oklahoma be an explosive outfit offensively? Or are they incapable of that? Because I happen to think they can. It's just not their best path to victory. I think the same can be said for Alabama. If you wanted to go and hang 40 and it became a track meet, I think they could do it. It's just not how they're designed to win with how well they're playing on defense right now. So I think it just depends on optics and what they want to be. And I think the team's identity under DeBoer and under Venables, they're awfully similar when you really take it into account.
You've seen a lot of OU this season. Heading into this game, just what are your overall thoughts about this football team? Clearly, everyone talks about the defense. The kicking game is a strength with having Sandell as the Grozer Award winner. But maybe the question is, do you think OU's good? Because it seems like a lot of people don't think OU's very good.
See, but I'm from the old school. I don't really care. To me, we in society think the teams that can score a lot of points are good. That doesn't, to me, I don't think that's accurate. I don't think that's true. I think the teams that finish the game with more points than the opposition, those are the teams that are good. And they adjust and adapt to what the game needs to finish the race first. And that's, to me, the identity of a great football team. For example, if Ohio State won by 3 or 30, it doesn't change my optics. It depends on how they got there. Did they look good in the process of getting there, or did they look poor in the process of getting there? I really don't care. It's more about what did you do to get to the finish line. And it's not all about wins and losses. I don't think about it that way at all. I think there's more in the tank for Oklahoma. I think there's more in the tank for Alabama if they wanted it to be in the tank. Let's start with Oklahoma. The biggest question that I have with Oklahoma is, one, youth along the offensive line and protection that has been a challenge at times. Consistent push in the run game, which has been a challenge at times. When you got youth up front, it's understandable. You also, I think, had the wrong guy as your starting running back for about 8 weeks, but that was partly because of an injury in fall camp. And Blaylock had a great start to the season, kind of hit the freshman wall. Still a good player, still explosive. I think Robinson's clearly made them different. And I also think, too, you don't want to put John Mateer out there because we all saw what Michael Hawkins looked like against Kent State. And frankly, with all due respect to Michael Hawkins, I'm not confident in him being out there and winning a game in the postseason. So you kind of need Mateer to be there and play well. But I think his legs are going to be a big part of the postseason. If it's 1 game, 4 games, however many games they play, I don't think there'll be any limitations with how many times he's asked to carry the ball. I don't think there should be. In a winner go home situation, it's all hands on deck. If he's got to carry the ball 20 times, he carries the ball 20 times. That's the way it goes. I think that's going to be helpful. I still think Satania is amazing. The guy's just a big play waiting to happen. I love that kid. I think he's a great player. I've always wanted more. I feel like every time I watch Deion Burks, there should be more there, and there's not. I don't know why that is. Um, and then Kanik, who disappeared for gosh, how many games, guys? Y'all probably know better than I do.
Yeah.
5 or 6 games. Like he was the best player on their offense in the first 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden he was no man's land
It was
for a
after
little
Mateer
while
had the
there.
hand injury. It felt like it took them a while to start to reconnect.
Yeah, but he's a dude. Like I mean, he needs to be a factor in my eyes. I just think he's a matchup problem, and I think he's got enough good feel for space that if a team were to zone him up, he can sit it down and feel pretty good about it. And that's partly probably because of his quarterback background. He just understands defensive structure. So I think he's a guy that needs to be a valuable asset for them as well. But I am of the belief with Oklahoma, kind of like Alabama, they have had a series of near misses. There have been probably 15 throws of Mateers that were right off the fingertips, just a little too deep on slot fades or whatever it may be. Like just something just the tiniest bit off. Doesn't mean it's not in there though. Doesn't mean it can't be done. Just means it hasn't been done. And I think the same can be said for Alabama. Can they be a high volume passing attack that can stretch the field? Can they be a team that can keep you honest on the deep ball? Can they be a team that can manufacture explosive plays? Like I think they can. They just haven't been. So that's I think another angle of this conversation is can versus haven't. Because if they can and they just haven't, then they should be in good shape. But if they can't, and that's why they haven't, that's a whole different conversation.
I heard a clip of you and Kublik talking about Alabama's roster and some of the teams in the SEC that you thought were better than them. You listed Oklahoma on there. Um, I I'm not going to push back on that. I really, I don't know. I wanted to know though, do you think is that a development issue? You mentioned depth earlier. Is it a depth issue? Is it like kind of the cream of the crop type of guys that maybe aren't there? Where do you think their roster problems really lie?
I don't know if it's necessarily problems. I just think there's a misconception. If it was on the radio show, we're talking to an Alabama audience, right? And I think there's a misconception within the Alabama fan base and those that watch the team that the roster is comparable to that of 2016, where you had 9 first-round defensive linemen.
There
Like
ain't no
it's
one like that anymore.
no, there's no one like that anymore. So I think when you look at it and you look at like super, super high end personnel, like first top 10 pick players, like guys with that kind of potential. I don't know if when you look at Alabama, now I think Alabama's roster is rock solid, but I don't know if there's anybody on the roster that's a bona fide top 10 pick. Like I don't know if I see that from anybody. Like people have suggested that Caden Proctor is at left tackle. I have not heard that. Based on the scouts that I've talked to. I think that there's perception that this guy is he's an elite. There's not that elite crazy take over the game edge rusher that Alabama's had traditionally. There's not a Quinnen Williams along the defensive line at D tackle. They have really solid pieces, but as far as the super high end first top 15, top 20 picks, they probably don't have as many of those guys as they once did. And we were talking, I think a big thing that stood out because you look at Bama's star rankings and stuff, like, come on. Like, I mean, the recruiting services many times will adjust star rankings based on what offers guys have, so like, and there was, I think, a time at the end of Coach Saban's tenure where it was being used against him big time. His age was being used against him, and the threat of him retiring was being used against him. So it was really, really hard for Alabama to get guys to commit because they were saying, "Oh, he's going to retire. He's going to retire. You really want to go there? He's going to retire. Coach Saban's not going to be there." And that was used heavily against him on the recruiting trail. I think that impacted the last couple of signing classes, and I think that's probably why the depth is not what it was. And then you also have a 46-player exodus when Nick Saban retired of guys going into the portal. Then we're backfilled, but it's a young roster in a lot of spots. I mean, you have a lot of guys that are young that are playing significant roles, and many are playing great given their youth. But the roster depth is not at all what it once was, and that's partly because of the turnover. It's partly because of how recruiting went, in the latter part of the Saban era. And then I think also a little bit of it has to do with the fact that the current coaching staff is still kind of learning who they have, and it took them a little while to get there. And now I feel like it's full steam ahead, because I think the development piece with these guys will be there. They're going to be great. The staff is great with that. You don't coach at NAIA and Washington and Fresno and not develop. You better be able to develop in those spots. They'll get there. I just think there was so much turnover and there was such chaos and there's such a misconception about how ridiculously talented the roster is that it can be a bit misleading. So it's more of that conversation. Like when you watch Bama, you guys have both seen them. Like, who's the bona fide, no doubt about it, top 10 pick that you've seen?
Ryan Williams, if he'd figure it all out,
Yeah, and I mean he's got major flashes, right? Like flashes of incredible, ridiculous potential, but he's still 175 pounds and 18 years old.
Right.
So there's still a little bit of a physical maturity that will need to happen. I mean, this is a guy that I know it's been, beaten to death, but it's like the guy is a year behind developmentally because he graduated college a year early. He's got unbelievable juice and skill, and he was great in the SEC championship game. And if you can get that version of him, you're going to be in great shape. But there's still a developmental leap that needs to be taken there. And it's just not, it hasn't happened just yet.
Yanze Pierre, if they would just, for the love of all that is holy, stop dropping him in coverage. It drives me insane, Greg. It drives me nuts. Just let the guy rush the passer. Please, just let him go.
He's got a great long arm, young player. I think he's gotten a whole lot better. Like he's got the upside to get there.
No doubt.
Sure. But right now, like, would you put him, would you take Yanze Pierre over Taylor Wine? I mean, would you take him over?
Personally, no, but there's that. I also love Taylor Wine.
Yeah.
It's that's not an unfair question for us.
But your point is right, though. Like, Gabe, when we played Alabama in 2018,
do you remember what I said during the commercial break? And Toby Rowland has never been more mad at me. We were on the field before that Orange Bowl, and we were live on air, and I was just like, boys, I don't think this is going to go very well, because I was standing next to Bama's defensive lineman, and Quinnen Williams was the smallest one.
It was
a different time, man. I mean, they were 3, 4, 5 deep at every position. It was like a conveyor belt of talent. It's like one guy goes out of the game because he's played 27 snaps and he's tired. No, the next guy goes in, he plays 15, no drop off. The next guy goes in, he plays 10, no drop off. It was like one guy after another. It was absurd. And it's just different now. I mean, it's just spread out a little bit more, and it's, I think, a little harder now I think just with the transition, it's just a little harder to be super, super elite and deep at the same time when you've had that type of turnover.
We'll get you back to the interview, but first, wind, hail, tornadoes, and earthquakes are now year-round threats. And at the same time, homeowners insurance rates in Oklahoma are the highest in the entire country. Unfortunately, some insurance companies use deceptive and bad faith claim handling practices to deny or lower what little they pay out. Fortunately, one of the leading insurance bad faith attorneys in the country is a longtime Sooner and resides here in Oklahoma, Jeff Marr. The Marr Law Firm has represented more victims of tornado, storm, and earthquake damage than anyone in the Sooner State, recovering hundreds of millions of dollars for their clients. There's only one law firm to handle insurance companies, Marr Law Firm. And 3 things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise. It's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go.
Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School represents a tradition of educational excellence in Oklahoma City. Grounded in a faith-based education, Bishop McGuinness offers a college prep curriculum that includes 26 AP courses, participation in OSSAA athletics, and numerous clubs and organizations for students to join and grow. If you want to provide the best possible educational and spiritual development for your children, contact Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School or visit bmchs.org. Financial aid is available.
All right, back to the interview.
Yeah. Well, all of that combined, I mean, a good breakdown of both teams. How do you think this one goes? Not so much win or lose, but kind of the X's and O's battles. We've seen how Oklahoma defended Alabama and looked like Georgia, and some people took a little bit from that as Alabama went. And then same thing on the flip side. How do you think Alabama, what they learned from the first matchup, what do you think they're going to try and do to Oklahoma's offense?
Well, I think, just starting out, like, you know what the message is going to be for both sides. Like, hey, take what the defense gives you. Eventually, it'll give you the game. Like, that's the message. Um, every drive has to end in a kick. Like, all the usual coach speak. Like, why would that not be the starting point of this conversation? Because the last game, and frankly, the last handful of games for Oklahoma, it's been so opportunistic and it was only a matter of time. Like, I mean, for them to go 8 games with 4 turnovers is absurd, right? It was only a matter of time before things got going in the right direction there. But I think for both teams, the funny thing about it, it's not often when you look at both teams and their path to victory is very similar. You know what I mean? Like, usually they both kind of have differentiating paths. And while I think Oklahoma's path is probably going to be on the ground with some quarterback run, which I think is their friend in a game like this, I think there's also you have to live and die with Isaiah Satania. He's got to get every look on third down. He's the guy on third down for sure. If you can somehow on regular down and distance, first and second down, get Deion Burks involved in a deep ball or two. If they could just hit one deep ball, it'd be nice. You know what I mean? For Oklahoma, like slot fade, anything to find a matchup in one-on-one. I think if it were them, that would be advantageous. I think it's going to be hard for them to consistently move the ball on kind of a dink and dunk throw with some of their picks and meshes. I think it's going to be interesting early in the game how much they can get away with. I mean, there's like we use the term as an offensive player, rub. Defense uses the term pick. In a game of this magnitude, are the officials more likely to throw the OPI flag, or are they more likely to swallow the whistle and let them play? That I
Big
think is
Ten
something you got
crew,
to figure.
right? Think it's a Big Ten crew.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know who it is. I haven't seen it yet. But I think that's something that you got to find out in the first 2 or 3 drives, because if you're getting away with stuff, hey, lean in. You know what I mean? Like, by all means, if they're letting them play, boys, hey, all our rub packages are up, all our double move stuff, our inside outs, like outbreaker with the underneath play is up. Like, all that stuff is up quickly if they're letting them play. So I think watching that early is something worth watching. As far as Alabama is concerned, I think the big key for them is they got to stay patient in the run game. You can't get one-dimensional. Assuming R. Mason's back, which I know is an assumption at this point, but I am always going to operate under the assumption that their best players are going to play. That's just the way I roll. Like, I mean, until he's not out there, I'm going to expect 32 to be out there, right? I'm going to have a plan for him accordingly. So I think you lean on the run game, probably pretty beneficial there. Can't get one-dimensional and let them pin their ears back. You have to avoid third and longs because that's when you get the super wide rush, and that's where it gets real dicey against some bigger tackles. I think you have to be really smart in trying to attack the middle of the field. I think there's some areas to be gotten there. You got to win some one-on-ones. You're going to get some man. You're going to get some man. You got to win those. And you got to be really smart in the pre-snaps if you're Alabama. I think that was one thing that did not do a good job of in the second half against Oklahoma. The first half, I thought they handled it quite well. Second half, they didn't do as good a job. When they made their protection adjustments, they didn't always protect it properly. And they got to some blitz beaters when in all actuality, it was really more simulated pressure than it was all-out pressure. So I think identifying that will be of key importance too. And then lastly, I think for both teams, it's been a little bit of a layoff. There's going to be some nerves. There's going to be some anxiety. There's going to be some jitters to be expected. I'd start with a little tempo. Like, to me, I like when the offense works with a little tempo, gets a little bit of a rhythm, and kind of takes the thought process out of it and then you build in the answers. Hey, if they overload your protection, here's your hot route. Hey, if they overload the protection from the weak side with will-free safety, perfect. Here's a slant. Or here's our out route this week because our side adjust doesn't need to be in break because we threw a pick 6 on it last time. You know what I'm saying? Just stuff like that. So I think that's beneficial. And then defensively, if I'm Alabama, I really want to cage John Mateer. I do not want him breaking out because big plays happen when he scrambles. If he gets out horizontally, we better have someone ready to roll and to go track him down as best we can. And if he gets out vertically, be ready to peel off because if you're too aggressive on the upfield rush, you can't get past the upfield shoulder or else you're dead there. Number 2, you got to have a plan for Satania at all times on third down. Double him, bracket him, give him a look, and make him think with some of the option stuff that they do out of bunches and stacks. Make him think it's going to be in breaking, and then you have a guy that's robbing. Like the slant they hit against Missouri on just a simple option in breaker that you can't let the catch and run go like that. Then I think if you can somehow find a way to get Mateer to press, he presses and bad things happen. And you can kind of see it. It was against Ole Miss. You saw it against Texas. You saw at times, there were times when he's wanting to make a play. Like he really at his core is a playmaker. Then he's great at it. Force him into wanting to be that guy. Now, however you do that, by complicating or confusing the pre-snap, post-snap looks, you can do all of that. But I think force him into wanting to become the guy is helpful. And then from Oklahoma's vantage point, I think if you can hit Ty Simpson early, see if you can try to get home, do a lot of the same stuff you did last time with simulated pressures. I think that's really valuable. I'd probably try very hard to try to create some edge pressure off the edge where it looks like one's coming. You can maybe get a tackle to buzz out for it and you get a guy internally. That happened and hit him a couple times the last time around. Alabama, for whatever reason, blocked outside in as opposed to inside out. Maybe you can get him on a few there. And I think moving things around and adjusting and creating confusion is of the utmost importance. Now, don't overly do your disguise because you don't want to give a freebie, but I would probably advise my guys, hey guys, let's disguise the heck out of it, but know exactly where you're going at the snap because that can be huge as well. And if Bama's doing the check with me stuff at the line of scrimmage, then you can adjust after he makes his check at the last minute. So I think it's going to be a tremendous game of cat and mouse and one that's going to be highly cerebral. Then for like the football junkies like us, it's going to be so much fun to watch. The final score might be 6-3 and it'll be captivating television. Like, you know what I mean? Like that might be how it works out.
Just like that was an incredible 6-3 game.
People will kill the SEC if that happens. And I don't care because like all you guys will watch it the same way I watch it. Like, oh my gosh. Like if you look at Heineke, like he just got him to slide the protection to Heineke. And it's like, oh my, now they're sliding for him, but he's actually dropping and you actually have a guy in the B gap backside like that, you know, that there's going to be a lot of cat and mouse in this game just because of time and, you know, because you got some great coaches on both sides. It's going to be awesome.
What's your prediction for clearly it's a Norman this time instead of Tuscaloosa? You have to assume that that's going to give OU a bit of an advantage with the home field, but is this a situation where you think Alabama can get a little healthier and go get it done on the road, Greg?
Answer me this. Like, I'll ask you guys this. Like, we as a team, like, I've really enjoyed road environments because when you are the team and, like, heavy is the head that wears the crown. You know, when you're Alabama or when y'all were playing and you're Oklahoma and then it's just there's like a weird. It's going to sound so strange. There's nothing better than playing at home, but there's also nothing more burdensome than playing at home too. At the same time, if things aren't going really well, you know what I mean? Like there's almost like a bit of anxiety, a little bit.
The moans and groans.
You know what I mean? Like you can sense when the crowd's tight, and sometimes in a game of this magnitude, sometimes it can kind of find its way onto the field. You know what I'm saying? Is that not? I mean, you guys get it. I feel like
buddy,
the average fan will be like, "This guy's nuts."
The LSU game,
100%
for OU. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those where the offense. There's no doubt that OU's offense could feel the disappointment from the crowd. Like, there's no doubt. Like, at some point, I mean, Ted, they were at one point, I mean, they were booing. Like, it's just one of those where you're like, oh, man, here we go.
Well, and I think it's pretty fair to say that Oklahoma's played their best ball on the road.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
I mean, I honestly think that's a thing. Like, I know that sounds like this year, especially because there aren't really, at least in the teams that we're discussing right now. I do think Indiana's in a different tier. I think Georgia could be there, but even Georgia early in the year, like you watched their game against Bama, like they were tight. It was very uncharacteristic Georgia. It was weird. Like there's something about playing at home this year when your team's not super elite. I think there's almost like we don't lose, boys. Let's try not to lose. And I think that can be burdensome and challenging at home. So I almost feel like this year especially, and we'll see how it goes in the 4 games that are played at home, and we know 2 teams are massive favorites. So like, is Tulane going to go get Ole Miss or James Madison go get Oregon? I'm not confident. Maybe y'all are. But I'll be curious to see how Miami handles it and how Bama handles it, because when you go on the road and the expectation is, well, the home team's never lost in the playoff. It's never happened. 4-0. It's never been competitive, frankly, in the 4 games that were played on home fields last year. And now, like, you don't want to be the first one, and it's also a little tight. And frankly, are you that great anyways? Like, I don't, these are all like really strange questions to be had. But I think if I'm Bama, and you've had some of the negativity and some of the toxicity at times around this season, I want to go on the road and like, just, we got nothing to lose. It's us against the world. Let's go send it. Like that would be my message. And if I'm Oklahoma, it's like that team's in wounded animal mode. Bring them into our house. Like we'll handle our business in front of our crowd. Like you think, hey, we got these guys in their place. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get them at our place for sure. Like, to me, I think that the home field can actually be beneficial on both sides in this game, which I know feels like it's straddling the fence, but I hope people understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think
do.
it makes perfect sense.
Well, I thought this was interesting. We have 5 common opponents between OU and Alabama, and both teams won all 5 of those games. Missouri, South Carolina, LSU, Auburn, and Tennessee. OU was plus 47 in those games. Alabama was plus 45. OU beat Alabama 23-21, beat them by the 2 differential. And not that necessarily means anything, but I think it's going to be like a coin flip game. And how it goes early, whoever can drag the other team out of how they have both kind of played this season, I think is going to be the team that ends up winning.
Yeah, that's the way it feels to me. Like it's one, like I'm taking Bama 24-20. I actually think it's gonna be a little bit higher scoring than some others. I think Vegas has it. I don't even remember where it was. I've been at Disney World the last couple of days. I've
41 and a half, I think, is
41 and a half. Yeah, I mean, gosh, that feels high. But I think it's gonna be a touch higher than that. I just think both offenses, that the narrative surrounding these offenses in the last month of the season, Oklahoma played with a little bit more way. We got to have it, like we got to have it type of situation. After the loss to Texas, the response that you've now seen from Oklahoma and bouncing back and losing to Ole Miss at home, it's like backs against the wall, boys. Let's go send it. We got to go get it. Bama, I feel like in the last month of the season was playing not to lose it in a sense, like, hey, we're in the field, we're in the playoff, we just gotta keep on keeping on. Let's just steady the ship, because earlier in the year, after they lost to Florida State, it's like, screw it. We got nothing to lose, boys. Let's just go. Like, we're probably not making it anyways. So might as well just go throw a punch. Let's see what happens. And then they ended up reeling off a bunch of wins. And all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, look at how good we've gotten. Like, let's not mess this up. And I feel like that had a little bit of a residual effect. But now that they're in the dance, I think you're going to see a better version of Alabama. I do. And I also think with Oklahoma, I think you have a chance to see a better version of Oklahoma because they're a week further down the line from the injury to Mateer's thumb, which I don't know the specifics. I mean, I do, but I don't know how that impacts your accuracy. I just think it'd be a beast trying to throw the ball with touch when your hand is numb. I just don't know how you do that. So, ton of respect for him playing through it, but I think you're going to see a better version of Mateer. I think you're going to see a better version of Ty Simpson. I think you're going to see a better version of Bama. I just think Bama has a little more. I've at least seen Bama's offense rip at a high level this year. I haven't really seen that from Oklahoma, and that's my biggest concern. I feel like the ceiling for Alabama offensively is just slightly higher, whereas the ceiling for Oklahoma's defense is higher than that of Alabama's. But I think the gap between Bama's offense and Oklahoma's offense at the ceiling is slightly smaller than the gap between Oklahoma's defense and Alabama's defense, which is why I lean Bama just tight 24-20.
The good thing is we don't have to wait that long, boys. Right around the corner. We'll get you back to the interview. But first, if you're looking for tickets to OU's next game, SeatGeek is where y'all need to go. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of the Oklahoma Sooners. So all Sooners tickets on SeatGeek are authentic and secure, and every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. So go to SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app and use our code BREAKDOWN10 for 10% off any tickets. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports festivals, and more. The app is extremely easy to use, and SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. And remember, you can use code BREAKDOWN10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code BREAKDOWN10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thanks, SeatGeek. And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. All right, back to the interview. Now, you're going to be on the call for the first round game that I think a lot of people are most excited about. And that's Miami traveling to College Station. First of all, just how excited are you to call the playoff game at that place? Because I have to imagine that is going to be a top tier atmosphere.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm from Dallas, Texas, like, I mean, the funny thing is like the games that matter most to me are in all of college football, with the exception of the ones that I actually played in, are Red River and Texas A&M. So like those are to me are like and we called Texas A&M a couple weeks ago. It was like the greatest day of my life. Like I remember we did the Red River game a couple years ago. That was also like a bucket list moment for me. It was amazing. Like I was like, I can't believe I get to call this game. My life is complete. You know what I mean? It's like thank you, Herb Street, for not taking this one. Like we need this one. Like just let us have this one, please. So like I've always had a great love, and just being from Dallas, Kyle Field and the Cotton Bowl and DKR are like holy land to me in many ways. Like it's just the coolest. So to know that it's going to be one of the biggest games in program history, and one of the storied venues in college football is amazing. The only disappointment is it's 11 a.m. Other than that, if it were not at 11 a.m., it'd be like the greatest thing ever. But I already pinged a couple A&M buddies of mine, like, hey, dude, answer me this. Midnight yells at midnight, I think. Might need to double check that. But gates open 9 hours later. Like, what's the appetite for just bringing the sleeping bag to midnight yell, posting up there in Kyle Field, everyone chill out. And then, hey, when you need to get up, you go take your sleeping bag, you just take it to your car, you come right back in, you're good to go. Like to me, I feel like that would be the appropriate way of handling this, given the gap between one of the great traditions in the sport and when the gates open up on Saturday morning.
Yeah, well, they may do that, which I'm pretty confident that at least some people will do that. I think the game is, I think both teams are really talented. There's great players on both sides, so you could have like something kind of like what OU Alabama, what we think it's going to be, but you could also have like wide open turnovers, touchdowns, back and forth. How do you think it's going to actually unfold?
You know what? I'm most intrigued by this game because I think these teams are built kind of the right way to make a run. Like that's why and look, had Notre Dame gotten in, like and that's a conversation for a different day. It's water under the bridge now, but like I really like Notre Dame's likelihood of making a run because I felt like they were really well built inside out. That's why I didn't also have a problem though with Miami getting in because then they're built the right way to try to go chase one. You know, unbelievable defensive line, like ridiculous defensive line that can play with violence and can play with speed. They have some versatility with Mesidor and Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain, guys, y'all haven't seen him in person, but like, dude, like, I know he's sawed off. He's not like your normal prototypical Julius Peppers edge rusher. He's 6'3", 270, but he is a hammer. I mean, a 4'3" defensive end hammer that I would take every day of the week on my football team. Like he is so violent and so strong and is so thick, like all the way from his ankles to his hands. Like he's just so powerfully built. And he just puts tackles in spin cycle all the time, man. And he's unbelievable. So those two guys working against an offensive line that I think's played as well as just about any offensive line in college football this year is just an amazing matchup. So I can't wait to see, that duo with some pretty good defensive tackles, by the way. Like they have guys on the interior that can get after you too that are overshadowed, but they also are very capable. So if you're paying all your attention to the ends, like get ready. You got a couple guys on the inside that can get their own shot too. So that I think is a fascinating matchup. And then on the other side, Miami's offensive line is big and physical, especially the right side, like can move bodies. And we know what A&M has been. A&M is really disruptive. I mean, they are like they might be out of a gap or two every once in a while, but I can tell you what, they get you into third and long, it's a wrap. With some of their overload stuff and some of their NFL pressures, it's I don't know how you'd block it. You can't. Like you just some of their stuff is so off the wall. It's like you can't even account for it. You could slide all five offensive linemen and put a back and a tight end over there, and they're still going to have one too many. And it's just it's a beast. So A&M is really really well coached on defense, but there are some times when they get maybe overly aggressive. Do they dial that back a bit in a game of such magnitude? That's going to be fascinating. Both quarterbacks, I think, very very interesting. Super high highs, but also some pretty low lows when it comes to decision making and accuracy and feeling the pressure and maybe not always being strong in the pocket and delivering the ball where it needs to be delivered. So that's going to be fascinating to see how Carson Beck handles it. I think Carson Beck's a pro, like he's a veteran, like he's been around it. He'll be all right. But Marcel Reed's ceiling is insane. I mean, if he takes off, I mean, it's a wrap. He's one of the fastest players on the field. And anytime you give him a seam, he can take off and he really helps that offensive line too by taking off and kind of keeping those edges clean. The wideouts, I think, on both teams are excellent. Really, really like both sides. I think A&M's wideouts. I think A&M just pound for pound, one of the fastest teams I've seen this year up close. I mean, Concepcion is is a bullet. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. So
The way that I've described it, Greg, is when you turn the tape on, he looks like he's moving at like 1.5 speed compared to the other guys.
He's insane. Like, I mean, like we saw him at NC State and we liked him. Like I liked him last year. And I remember when he chose A&M, I was like, that's a big get. And everyone was like, who? I'm like, I'm telling you, this kid's legit. Like, he's a good football player. I don't know how good he is as a receiver. He's a good football player. Like, get on the ball and see what happens. He's been so good as a receiver too. So he's really progressed in that area. And then you got Craver on their side, so you got to be careful with him. And their tunnel screens are always a threat to go the distance. And then with Malachi Toney, who's just a pound for pound, just a total baller for Miami. It's just he's amazing. I mean, they put him in the Wildcat. He threw a drop back fade against Pitt as a wide receiver playing Wildcat quarterback, and it was like on the money. I mean, he also is scrambled out and hit guys in Wildcat, but he's also a terrific slot receiver. Like. There's weapons on both sides. The linebackers on both sides are excellent. And then the secondaries, I think everyone's got questions about the secondaries. But they haven't needed those secondaries as much because both pass rushes are so good. So I think it's an amazing matchup. I know it's our game. I know we're supposed to promote our game, but I don't think I need to really promote it very much. If you've watched these teams this year, they are the real deal when they're playing their best football. They can also look pretty average when they're not playing their best football. So going to require you playing great on Saturday morning if you want to win.
I've got a question for you about the quarterbacks in that game. And when you look at Miami's offense, a lot of duo. I could see them kind of struggling to move A&M off the ball and really create a lot in the run game and force Beck to make a lot of plays throwing in the throw game. If something similar happened to A&M where they're struggling to run it, we'll see what Le'Veon Moss's status is for the game. I think that's an intriguing storyline as well. But if it comes down to just both of the quarterbacks having to make plays in the throw game, who do you think the advantage goes to then?
If it comes down to just flat out throwing it, it's probably Beck. But I think when you take into account the mobility that you have to account for with Marcel Reed, like that's the ultimate neutralizer, especially working against a great pass rush. I mean, Beck's going to be a stationary target. Like, you know where he's going to be throwing from. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's something like 96% of his throws come from the pocket. Like, it's very rare when he's not where he needs to be. But Marcel Reed, I mean, he can escape horizontally, vertically, keeps his eyes downfield, run around. Like, he can do a lot. So if it comes down to just standard drop back, it's Beck. But if it comes down to, hey, the quarterback's got to make a play, like Marcel Reed, be tough to overlook in that situation. So it's anybody's guess, because I think that there's something about Marcel Reed that is very difficult to corral. I compared him on the podcast to like an untamed waterfall. Like, the power and the energy is remarkable. It just hasn't always, they haven't built the dam yet. You know, like it's not complete. It's close. So you can still get some energy off of it, but like, it's close. And there's something about his explosiveness, the juice that he plays with, and being able to kind of keep things alive. That's unique. I mean, he's very, very unique in that area. So it'll be interesting to see how Miami kind of tries to cage him and kind of corral him, because it'll be like herding a cat, man. I mean, he'll be run all over the place, and you always need to know where he's at. And that'll be really tricky. So I don't think A&M wants it to come down to efficiency, throwing the ball in a typical drop back game. That's not where they want to live. I also think they're, running the ball against Miami is gonna be hard. It's gonna be really tough. And you referenced running against A&M. I don't think duo's the run for them. I think it'd be more like gap trap stuff, kind of off tackle stuff. That's where you can find a little more movement, and you might be able to catch them out of a gap or catch a safety peeking. But that's where I think it'll go. I'd be curious to see just how much Miami kind of gets away from their traditional run plan and maybe goes to the edges a little bit more. That's kind of where I see them living.
Won't ask you for a prediction because you're on the call for that one. I will ask you one more question, Greg. We're all going to watch the games because we love college football. But any chance, you think there's any chance that James Madison at Oregon or Tulane at Ole Miss, like any chance either of those are interesting?
I mean, I want it to be, like, of course I want it to be. I don't know about y'all. I think Tulane's going to have a hard time. I just don't think it's a good matchup for him. Their personnel on defense, personnel on the outside, like, they have a tough time tackling. Like, if you go back and watch their performance in the first game against them, it wasn't great. So I think that's just a tough draw. So I think Tulane's is a quality team. I just think it's a tough draw. With how Ole Miss has improved defensively, I think they'll be okay in that one. Unless Ole Miss, for whatever reason, turns it over and makes some mistakes, they should be in control. The other one is more intriguing to me, and that's because when I look at James Madison, while I don't know if they have the horses to hold up, the first thing I looked at, I don't know if y'all did the same. First thing I looked at was their defensive line size, because that's the biggest differentiator, right? Between the O-line and D-line size. And they do have a guy that's 348. They have a guy that's 310. A guy that's 301. Their best defensive lineman, 6'4", 270. So they are pretty stout up front, and the numbers reflect that. They don't give up a lot of yards on the ground. They're one of the top-ranked run defenses in the country. As a result, they're one of the best time of possession teams in the country. So 34-plus minutes of time of possession. And they are number 2, I believe, nationally when it comes to TOP. So, not that TOP is the end all be all by any stretch. It's changed drastically. But there is a team that has used that formula with success against Oregon this year, and that was Iowa. And now, do I think James Madison has the personnel that Iowa has? No, I don't. But I do think James Madison, if they can shrink the game, they do have a chance of making it a little bit compelling, at least for a bit. I just don't know if they'll hold up for 4 quarters. I don't know if you guys see it similarly. So I kind of like James Madison to hang in the first half and ultimately Oregon getting away from him in the second half. And then just for Tulane, I think it's a tough putt all the way around.
You're the man, dude. Appreciate the time. Have a great call in College Station, and I will be texting you one way or another late Friday night, buddy. So we'll see how this one goes for the old alma maters.
Well, you enjoy the game, dude. It's gonna be awesome. As someone that was at that Friday night game, did that game last year, dude, it's like the greatest scene ever. Like you're gonna have just the best time. Like out, just enjoy pregame. Like go and just soak it up because it's just there's something really powerful about that pregame experience there on that Friday night. Just setting the stage for the rest of the weekend of the playoffs. So you'll see what you don't know it yet, but like you'll feel it on Friday when you walk in the Palace. Like it's just different, dude. You'll love it.
I am so excited.
Me too.
Hopefully we win. All right, Greg, you're the man. Thanks, buddy.
See you, boys.
Well, if you wanted the most detailed preview of a game possible, there you go.
Right.
Between what we're watching for and then McElroy's breakdown, we've unloaded everything we've got on OU Bama round 2.
Yeah. Yeah. And kind of building on your point, like kind of feels like we're playing with house money. That's kind of how he feels with Alabama, right? Being able to get out on the road and cut it loose a little bit. So yeah, man, it's going to be a fantastic matchup. And I mean, yeah, you're right. Like we diced this thing to shreds.
Let's just play this thing, man. Let's just play this thing. But reminder, Thursday night, please show up. Please. Live podcast.
A historic night. I know Friday night's the first time we've ever hosted a playoff game, but Thursday night, first time we've ever hosted a live podcast at Riverwind. Let's get it in.
7:30. Doors open at 6:45. Gonna be a ton of seating. Bring your kids. It's gonna be family friendly. At least that's our plan. So we hope to see all of y'all there. Also, Opolis making like an event t-shirt for it. It's got our faces on it, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Should be good. Lots of giveaways. So hope to see all of y'all there at Riverwind Casino on Thursday night. We'll start at 7:30. Please show up so Josh Pate doesn't make fun of us, please. That's like my only concern. Because everyone's going to show up. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Birthday shout-outs. Happy 3rd birthday to Ryder Hathaway.
Happy 4th birthday to Henley George.
Happy 7th birthday to Baker Ballard.
Happy 8th birthday to Thatcher Miller.
Happy 16th birthday to Hannah Quinn.
Happy 22nd birthday to Emma Kopetsky.
I think you nailed that, dude. Nailed
that felt
it.
Good. That felt good.
Confident, nailed it. Happy 22nd birthday to Gabe Cox. You got a great name, Gabe. Nice.
Happy 25th birthday to Nick Risser.
Happy 25th birthday to Anthony Sudreth. I don't know about that one.
Sudreth?
Sudreth. SUDDRETH.
You nailed it. Happy 50th birthday to Scott Robertson.
Big 5-0, Scott. Congratulations. On that note, episode 590 in the books. Sunday podcast?
Hopefully Saturday is a celebratory day.
Yes. I think we're going to be drinking one way or the other. It's going to be a celebratory Saturday or a somber Saturday. I think our plan is to record on Sunday like we normally do and then get it out.
Okay.
I think that's the plan. Enjoy the Saturday and then because everyone, if we win, like everyone's going to be enjoying that Saturday. No one's going to be listening to the podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's right.
Be watching football just with the biggest smiles on our faces imaginable. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, go ahead and visit our website, okbreakdown.com, for all of our stuff in one spot. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Let's get it on Friday night. Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening, and do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.